Hey sports fans, welcome to Friday. It means it's the time for Foolishville's Picks of the Week. Last week I went 9-6. Not that great, not terrible, but we'll take it. 3 games up is great. So let's get right to it. I think Michigan will beat Michigan State. It's going to be tough. It's always tough on the road. Michigan, I think, is going to exercise some demons of past performances on the road where they've just slumped. They haven't done too great. Notre Dame obviously this year, Northwestern this year. Last year the road was tough too. I think they look different. I hope I'm right that they're different and they can come out and weather the Michigan State storm. I hope they get out early on them, like 14-3, 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. That would just make a huge difference for the rest of the game. Just get up early and just rely on that stupendous defense. Moving on into the Big Ten. Kind of a big game. It's kind of hard to tell. Iowa and Maryland, they're both relatively the same team. Iowa's ranked, Maryland's not. It's at Iowa. It's a 11 a.m. kick their time. So I'm going to take Iowa. Iowa seems to be playing pretty well. They've only lost to Wisconsin recently, and that was a tight game where they were in the game. So I'm taking Iowa. Speaking of Wisconsin, I think they rebound. They get Illinois this week. Take them to kind of destroy them. I expect Taylor to probably get like 150 to 200 rushing yards. So Wisconsin wins that. Northwestern over Rutgers. I don't know if I'm going to take anyone to beat Rutgers. Not to beat Rutgers. So Northwestern over Rutgers. Penn State versus Indiana. This is kind of a tough one to me because I'm like, Penn State kind of showed their flaws last week. And Indiana's at home. But again, it's one of those games where Indiana's close, but doesn't pull it out. So I'll take Penn State to rebound. Another game, Indiana will sigh and think, if only we would have beat those teams. Because Indiana gets close to beating good teams, but doesn't. I'm picking Nebraska over Minnesota. It's at Nebraska, so maybe Scott Frost finally gets his first win. So I'm actually going to take Nebraska over Minnesota. The night game in the Big Ten, Ohio State at Purdue. I don't know, people are like saying how Purdue's on a hot streak. They've lost 3 games. My friend at my work says they've lost 3 games by a total of like 1 point each, or at least 1 score games. And now they've won 4 games in a row. So that's a sign of a young team. Are they turning the corner now where they know how to win a big game? I don't think they're quite there. I bet they'll cover. I think the point spread was like 14, 17 points. I bet they cover that. But I don't think they win. They'll probably lose by 7. I heard Purdue's pretty hot, but I'm thinking Ohio State's still just a juggernaut offense, and Purdue does not have the defense to stop them. So I'll take Ohio State. Now, there's some other big college football games. Clemson and NC State, both ranked. ACC, like this. Hey, at least Clemson has to play a ranked team. Yay, Clemson in the ACC. Woo. Clemson. Yep. LSU over Mississippi State. This was another tough one because LSU is riding a really big high after their destruction of Georgia. I didn't see the loss of Georgia that way, but maybe Georgia was more of a paper champion because they hadn't played anyone good either. It's a little bit hard to go into LSU as well. So, balance it out. Oh, this is tough. But I'm going to take LSU over Mississippi State. I think if LSU is going to lose, it might be the next week. But we'll see how that goes. And in the Pac-12, I'm going to take Oregon. Is going to slip up. They're right in their high after the win over Washington. I think they lose to Washington State. So Washington State over Oregon. All right. Those are the college picks. Next, Chicago and New England. This is kind of tough, but somehow Belichick always finds a way to really shut down rookie or first-year quarterback. So I'm going to take New England to beat Chicago. That's kind of tough because you can just look last week. Kansas City scored 40 points on Belichick, and he was a second-year quarterback. So we'll see how it goes here, but I think New England just has enough offense. They're getting their offense back into rhythm with the wide receivers coming back off suspension and getting them as a trade with Gordon. So I think New England is going to keep it going. I'm taking Miami over Detroit. I'll tell you why. Detroit could beat Rodgers of Green Bay, great quarterback. They could beat New England New England with Tom Brady, great quarterback. This week, I think they're playing some Osweiler. They're just Osweiler. I think they're playing Osweiler. I think Tannehill's still out. Even if it was Tannehill, I would still take Miami because Tannehill and Osweiler are not good quarterbacks. So somehow the Lions will lose because those players are not good quarterbacks. They can beat good quarterbacks, not good quarterbacks. It'll be interesting to see if they can beat Kirk Cousins when they play Minnesota, but that's a couple weeks away. Because I don't know if Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback or not. But that's for another day. I'll take Minnesota, speaking of Kirk Cousins, to beat the New York Jets, Jetss. I just think the defense of Minnesota is too good to lose to Darnold. But we'll see. Kansas City over Cincinnati. I think last week you kind of saw Cincinnati rearing its head again, that they're not a top team, losing to Pittsburgh by 7. So I'm picking Kansas City to beat them. They'll just score lots of points. Kansas City will score points. They'll give up points, but most of the time they're going to win because they put up so many points. And in the Monday night game, it is a great part of the season when you start having really bad games as your primetime games. Atlanta versus the New York Giants. Like, woo. Guess you take Atlanta because the Giants are a dumpster fire. But at least the nation can watch Saquon Barkley. He is worth watching. I wonder if it's going to be where Saquon Barkley's kind of like Barry Sanders, where, you know what, the Lions were terrible, but you could still watch Barry Sanders and enjoy it. You know, Saquon Barkley might be the same thing. They're terrible, but you know what? You can watch and enjoy him because he is a lot of fun to watch. I'll totally say he is fun to watch. I'm glad he left Penn State. He tormented Michigan last year. So, those are my picks. 9-6 I went last week. Hopefully we can get to 10 wins, if not 11 or 12 wins this week, and have a better week. What are the games you're really looking forward to? Put them in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like how this is going, subscribe. Thanks. As always, let me know if there's a topic you want my foolish opinion on. I appreciate those. Thanks for watching, and of course, go blue!